Illini season, but before we get into your team, you're just back from a trip to the Olympics in Paris. Got to watch some volleyball as well. How was that experience?
It was great. You know, it's a great international sport for if you've never seen it internationally. We do it great here in the Big Ten, obviously, but we got to see one of our former players in Jordan Poulter do her thing out there, and we also coached another one in Justine Wong-Orantes when we were at Nebraska. So it's, but it was great to see Jordan, her family, and just USA just doing their thing. I mean, it's a whole different experience when you're out there and supporting your country and everyone's cheering, and it was just a great experience overall. And my wife was there in 2008 as a player, and she's like, I like it a lot better without the knee pads this time.
A little bit more relaxed.
A lot less pressure, yeah.
Less stressful.
Yeah.
What's the biggest difference? Obviously the experience and the talent level, but the biggest difference between what we see in women's college volleyball, maybe specifically in the Big Ten, and what you see at the international level?
Actually, I was talking to our players this morning at breakfast. I said, you know, there's not a ton of difference in terms of, you know, how the game's being played. I think we're playing it at the highest level here in the Big Ten, and we talk about that all the time, that it's difficult to win. And so I think, you know, a lot of these players that are on the national team are coming from the Big Ten because we're used to these type of environments, and we're used to playing in these big venues, big arenas, and you know, the game still kind of remains the same. And yeah, there's a few players out there that do a few special things that you know, you like to have on your own roster, but we're trying to teach our players just to do the same stuff that is done at the highest level. And we saw a lot of the things that we talked about every day in our gym, you know, done at the world stage.
And as strong as this conference has been in recent years, gets even stronger this year. From a coach's perspective, what's the first thought when the schedule is released and you look at what you're facing every week in, week out? And that's just in Big Ten play. It doesn't even count the non-conference.
Yeah. You know, it's for us, it's always about just accepting those challenges, right? And it's always been a tough conference. So adding the next four, it just provides a different type of challenge where before you get, you know, to return to an opponent, now you're going to play one match against a lot of them, and you don't get the time, you know, if you play someone early on and maybe you develop a little bit better, or maybe you caught someone when you had an injury or didn't have an injury or whatever it might be. I think that's going to be the tricky part, and how maybe that translates into the season can be interesting to kind of see how it plays out, because you might be really strong at the end, and you would want to face someone, and you figure out some things with your roster and everything else. And I think that's going to be the biggest challenge of not just the travel with the scheduling, but how that kind of formulates, and you get to play someone one time, and you got one time to figure out how to beat them. I think that's going to be the tricky part.
I know everyone wants their year to end with a deep run in the NCAA tournament, so you didn't get exactly to where you wanted to be at the end of last year. What do you take away from 2023, both from a positive standpoint and from the standpoint of looking at and saying, if we want to compete this year, we have to be better?
Yeah, it always remains the same. We want to be really great about being in the moment, and I think our team's done a tremendous job at that. And last couple of years, we've been hit a little bit with the injury bug, and it's been unfortunate as it has been. We're still stayed together as a team. As you mentioned, we finished in the top half of the Big Ten ever since, you know, we've been here. I've been here, and that's really hard to do. And I tell the team it's not always going to show up in the wins or the year that you end up winning it, but we always have to learn the lessons that we need to become not just better players, but better people too. So there's a lot of takeaways that we've had as a team. The team's hungry. They're competing a lot this summer, and all the feedback I've gotten from their open gyms is they're fired up. They're ready to go. We're looking forward to it here coming shortly.
Fired up, ready to go. Also sounds like your fan base, great home environment. You guys with 10 wins there last year. You always protect that home court. How important is it for you when you look at the big picture of what you have to face this year to be successful inside Huff Hall?
I think it means everything to have a home court advantage, and our fans have always showed up, and it's just an arena that gets loud. It's, you know, it's a historical venue. It's got good acoustics. The fans are on you, and our team knows how to get after it in that venue. And we always want to protect our house. We want to be great everywhere we go, obviously, but it means a lot more when you win at home, and you know, you want to sing the alma mater afterwards, and everyone wants to be arm in arm and celebrate wins. So it was great to have a great home record last year. Looking forward to do more of the same.
I think when you combine Huff and the State Farm Center, I'm not sure that there's a louder 1-2 combo in the Big Ten. And as you said, fans right on you in both. You have two very experienced and talented players here to represent your program. Let's start with Raina Terry. Last year, she was top 2 in attacks, kills, and points per set in the Big Ten. Is there still more room for growth for Raina to get even better?
Oh, there always is. There has to be. We've talked about that with her, and you know, these last several years, we've asked her to do a lot. Again, partially due to some of the injuries that we've had, she's had to carry several swings for us. You can't just send her on the same route, so she's gotten used to hitting in different routes, front row, back row, front of the setter, behind the setter, and we're adding a few more things to her game this year that I think are going to help her be successful. But of course, it's a team game, and she knows that, and she wants to be the best leader she can be too. So she's really taken on that role tremendously, and we're looking forward to her taking on that role even more as the season goes on.
Yeah, awesome to see not just her effectiveness, but the energy that she provides when she's swinging well on the offensive side. Meanwhile, Caroline had more than 330 digs last year. What does she do for your team, especially in that transition from defense to offense and making sure that you guys are in system when you have a chance to put a ball away?
Yeah, the first thing we talked about, always talk about is serve receive. I think she's done a great job of just improving every single year. We've asked her to handle a lot as well. Sometimes we pass with two with her and Raina, or she takes a lot of court. And I think that's always the first line of attack or defense, if you will, is to be really good in serve receive. And then same thing, she's been on the floor for us ever since she's been here. And so that experience and she holds a lot of clout amongst the team, and how she's able to translate that to scoring the point or staying in the system or setting up the defense or anything else that goes along with trying to get wins.
I know the Big Ten worked really hard in scheduling and trying to make sure that there aren't a lot of short weeks with long trips. From a coaching staff perspective, what can you guys do to offset some of the extra travel that will be on you, on the team, as they're trying to worry about not just winning volleyball matches, but keeping their grades up as well?
Yeah, absolutely. That's something we take seriously too. We're a top institution in the country. Its academics aren't easy, no matter where you're at, but I think specifically Illinois as well. And we want them to be an all-around, student athlete. And so for us, I think when you get to playing seasons, it's a lot about what's that rest recovery cycle look like. Everyone wants to practice, everyone wants to get after it, and we talk about being efficient when we practice. So we get in, we get after it. We try to get our reps in as fast as we can, or as best we can, I should say. And then we got to make sure we got time for recovery, so we're ready for the next match. You're getting your schoolwork done. I think the Big Ten does a tremendous job with scheduling, and of course we're able to travel well too, whether it's charter flight or bus, and able to get back in time for class or just rest and recovery.
All right, well, speaking of schedules, let's finish there. You have 24 days, not counting today, between our meeting at Media Days and your opener against Cincinnati. What's the biggest priority for you and the team before opening Friday?
For us, it's figuring out lineup, I think, as everyone is going to. We have several returners, and we also have 8 newcomers too. So we have 4 transfers, 4 freshmen, and some very talented players. And I think it's going to be a lot about just figuring out in the first week or 10 days, who fits where, and ideally people can fill in at different spots if need be. Like you mentioned, just came back from the Olympics, and everyone's moving around too. So if we can kind of take some of those lessons and always put players in where they're the most successful and help us win, I think that's the biggest thing between now and our first game.
Chris Tamas, appreciate the time. Always great to see you. Best of luck to you and the team.
Thank you.
Talked about some of those lengthy road trips. Well, the Illini are getting one out of the way very early, to Oregon and Washington at the end of September. You see some other important dates, including twice against Nebraska, first at home and then on the road in October, finishing up late in the year at home with a visit from UCLA. Speaking of visits, let's hear from the Illini players as we head back to Elena and Holly once again.
Thanks, Rick. Good stuff over there. Holly and I are joined with Caroline Barnes and Raina Terry, Illinois student athletes. Welcome to Big Ten Media Days. We're so excited to have you guys here. Raina, we got you back for a 5th year. Tell us about that decision to come back and play one more season.
Yeah, I get asked that a lot, and every time I say it was probably one of the easiest decisions I've ever made. I'm very fortunate to have the coaching staff that I do, and they made that decision very easy for me and the teammates. I mean, it was a very easy choice to come back.
Are you excited with all these new 8 players joining your team?
Absolutely. I mean, having them in the gym in the summer has been great. They're going to make a contribution no matter what. I mean, they're great people, they're great teammates, so it'll be fun.
Both of you are now veterans on this squad, so you have those new faces coming in. Caroline, can you tell us a little bit about your kind of game plan going into this season, how you plan on being a leader with this team?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the biggest things that we have worked on as a team is our culture and our communication standards with how we are on and off the court. And that was something we knew that with 8 new people coming in, obviously you're not all going to be on the same page. So we put in a lot of work this summer to get on the same page, to show them what our standards are. And they've done an incredible job, adjusting. They've taken it all And yeah, I'm really excited for going into the season just to see how it translates.
And Caroline, how has your role changed over the last few years? Feel like you've taken more responsibility.
For sure. I was just a DS, or not just a DS, but I was a DS my freshman year, so kind of got to learn the role a little bit, get comfortable with the team and everything. So I feel like as I've transitioned to libero and then just, been the libero the past couple years, I've grown in my leadership role and more girls come to me, which has been, weird, but it's been awesome to kind of be in that, seniority role. So yeah, it's been cool.
Raina, Coach Tamas commended you a lot last season for how you were able to handle the pressure that your opponents would put on you. You were their focal point, and you knew that going into those matches. Can you walk us through how you kind of mentally prepared going into a matchup knowing that you were always going to have a good double, maybe triple block up in front of you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't do anything special. I mean, I kind of take the pressure with how it is, and I just go into every match swinging, and I take whatever's thrown at me.
Is it a different approach in terms of they're going to focus on you? You don't have to change anything up?
No, I just trust my game. I trust my coaches. I trust my strength coach that, they've trained me for those moments, and I don't think I have to do anything special. I just play how I always do.
Are there any areas of your game that you've worked on this spring?
Yeah, there's quite a few. I mean, there's always room to grow, and yeah, I've gotten a lot of help from my teammates, and Brooke has done a great job working with me over the summer, trying to add some new things to my tool belt. So it'll be exciting to see what comes of it.
I mean, obviously you two are some key returners to this year's squad. You just mentioned setter Brooke Mosier. You have some new faces coming in this season. You talked about the culture. Can you give us a little bit of an insight of what we can expect to see from Illinois volleyball this year?
Yeah, absolutely. We are a very gritty team. We're very competitive. Me and Raina, I feel like, are the leaders of that a little bit. So our culture is very competitive, but we're together as a team still. We want to be able to communicate with each other. We want to be able to push each other, and we're not competing against each other. We're competing with each other. No matter, obviously, we have a lot of new girls on the squad, so there's going to be some competition for spots. But we want that to be as healthy and as supportive as possible. So that's a lot of things that I think I'm excited to see translate in the fall this year.
You two are leaders on the team. Who's the most vocal leader?
I think we all kind of share that role a little bit, especially Brooke too, being a setter. She has to be pretty vocal, and she's done a great job stepping into that role. Barnes and I also, we try our best to be vocal, and yeah, we all just try our best.
Yeah.
You got to be pretty vocal in this league because I feel like every gym is so loud, yours included. Super fun one to play in. Besides your own, are there any other venues? Raina, we'll start with you, but I want to hear you as well, Caroline. Any other venues that you love playing in, you're looking forward to playing in this season?
Yeah, I love playing at Nebraska. It's always a challenge. It's so loud in there. It's so rowdy. So like you said, you have to be very vocal so that way your teammates can hear you. So I'm excited to play there.
Yeah, I think Nebraska is always a fun one. Purdue, we just have kind of a good rivalry with. We always play each other very tough. They have an incredible fan base that is always very loud in your ear, but it's fun. It, gives you a little extra edge. So I really like playing there as well.
Any of the new 4 teams that you're looking forward to matching up against?
Gosh, I mean, I want to play Oregon. They're a great team. They've made back-to-back Elite Eights, so I'm excited to play them. I'm excited to play Washington too. I've heard great things about their campus, and I can't wait to see it. So yeah.
Yeah, same with me. I think we played Washington a couple times in my freshman and sophomore year, so it'll be fun to see them across the net again. And yeah, it'll be incredible to be able to play Oregon in conference play this year.
You both know how difficult this conference is because you've played in it for years now. Every single night is a battle. Now we're adding those 4 more schools that have a history of success. Adding them to this conference now, what can you say about your experience in the Big Ten and kind of give us a preview, a little bit of advice to those new teams joining the conference?
No weekends off ever in the Big Ten. You never are going into a game thinking, oh, this is an easy win, we'll take a load off, whatever. That's why we all came here. I think it's because we live for the competition, and every day, every weekend, every game is a battle. So, and they are up to the task. We've seen them, and they've all had incredible seasons in past years. So it'll be very exciting to have them on the other side of the net as well.
Yeah, I agree with Caroline. There's no off weekends. Every team is going to give you their best. You just can't take anyone for granted in this conference ever.
Obviously, the whole world is watching the Summer Olympics. Have you guys been watching the indoor, and what inspires you the most about that level?
I think it's just crazy how fast they run. I talked to my mom about it. We were just at home watching Team USA, and they run so fast, and it's crazy how they can still connect when they're running that fast. But yeah, I would love to be able to run that fast one day. But yeah, it's a great level of volleyball that they're playing at, and it's so fun to watch. And you try and envision yourself on that stage too one day. So hopefully one day.
I think it's just been incredible to see how every single person on that team is contributing. You know, they're all going in and out. They all have each other's back. It's all the best players we've watched at the collegiate level as we've been growing up. So I think that's just the best part about watching is you see all these girls working together. A lot of them were Big Ten rivals, I'm sure. So it's cool to watch how they all contribute and they all have each other's back.
You even have an alumni yourself with setter Jordan Poulter. It must be cool to be able to look and say, hey, she was in this spot one day. Look at her now. So definitely motivating. We love hearing about you guys as volleyball players, but give me a little bit of insight on what you did this summer outside of the volleyball court. Give us some insight on who Caroline Barnes is and who Raina Terry is off the court.
I've been in Champaign all summer training, but I've been remotely interning for R.W. Baird as a IT and data analytics intern. So that is what a lot of my time has been this summer. So not a ton of, it's been a lot of volleyball and it's been a lot of work, but it's been good, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of volleyball, a lot of school. I'm working on my master's. I spent a lot of time with my family. I got to go home quite a bit this summer, so it was nice. I got to see my nephew. He's walking now, so I got to see that. But yeah, just spending time with family.
What is it like being in grad school and still competing?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was gonna be a lot harder, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm very fortunate that I get to get my master's by the end of this, so yeah.
Are there any matches you guys are looking forward to playing this season the most? Any that you got circled on your calendar?
Like I said, I love playing Purdue. I think I'm sad we don't get to play them twice because it's always fun to get to play them at home and away, but I feel like we always play them really well and really tough, and it's always, you never know, it's always a toss-up, so.
Yeah.
That's it for me, probably.
Yeah, Purdue, I'm excited to play UCLA. I'm excited to see Alfie. I love Alfie, so excited to say hi to him. But yeah, really excited for Purdue, excited to play Oregon. Yeah.
And kind of wrapping up last season, heading into this new season, do you have a favorite memory or a favorite match from the previous season that you kind of look back on? You're like, oh, that was a good time, but looking forward to new times now.
Yeah, the Purdue match. When we played Purdue at home, that was when things really clicked, and I think that was our best team match we've ever played. So yeah, moving forward, I'm excited to see more of that.
I agree with that. That was a fun one. This was a throwback, but freshman year we beat Penn State away on their turf. That was really exciting. Playing my sister my freshman year was also, again, not necessarily for the rivalry competition, but that was just a special memory for me. I think that'll be one of my favorite matches to play.
Awesome. Going to make many more memories this season. We can't wait to watch you guys. Caroline, Raina, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you enjoy the rest of your time here at Big Ten Media Days. Rick?